Imagine you're sitting quietly in your room. The world outside is busy, noisy, and rushing forward. But in this small moment, everything feels still. You can hear your own breathing. You notice the simple beating of your heart. You wonder, is there something more to life than just running after goals, chasing approval, or fearing the future? Imagine you're standing in a crowd. People pass by, faces blank, eyes tired. You smile at someone, but they don't notice. A small ache grows in your chest. You start to ask yourself, am I really living? Or am I just surviving? Imagine you are achieving every dream you set. A better job, a new car, a bigger house. Yet every time you reach a new goal, the happiness feels short-lived. Deep inside, a quiet emptiness still whispers. You wonder why success doesn't feel like enough. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I feel anxious even when everything seems fine? Why do I react so strongly to small problems? Why do I sometimes feel lonely even in a room full of people? And most importantly, is it possible to find real peace no matter what happens around me? Let's take a very simple example. Think about a glass of muddy water. If you keep shaking it, the mud never settles. But if you place the glass on a table and leave it alone, slowly the mud sinks and the water becomes clear. Your mind is the same. The more you stir it with stress, anger, and endless thoughts, the more cloudy it becomes. But when you learn to be still, to observe, and to live mindfully, clarity, peace, and understanding slowly return. Welcome to Wisdom Writings. If you're someone who is searching for deeper meaning, inner peace, and true happiness, you're in the right place. Here, we dive deep into timeless teachings that can change your life from within. Before we move forward, I want to share something important. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of people subscribe. If you find even one small thing here that touches your heart, please like the video, comment your thoughts below, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to our channel. It only takes a second, but it helps us bring more wisdom into the world. And I would love to hear your reflections. So please, drop down your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's begin this beautiful journey by understanding how Buddhism, one of the world's oldest spiritual paths, can truly transform your life. Buddhism is not just a religion. It is a way of seeing the world, a way of living each day with greater awareness and kindness. It teaches that the root of our suffering is not in the outside world, but inside our own mind, and that we can change our experience by changing the way we see and react to life. Thousands of years ago, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama left behind everything, his wealth, his comfort, and his future as a king, because he saw the suffering of life and wanted to find a real answer. After years of deep meditation and searching, he became the Buddha, the Awakened One, and shared his discoveries with anyone who wanted to listen. Buddhism offers a gentle yet powerful promise. You are not trapped. No matter where you start from, no matter how much pain you carry, you can change your inner world. You can find freedom from fear, anger, sadness, and confusion. Instead of chasing happiness outside, through possessions, approval, or achievements, Buddhism teaches that true happiness comes from understanding your own mind, letting go of illusions, and living with compassion and mindfulness. And this path is open to anyone. You don't need to change your life overnight. You don't need to become a monk. You simply need a willing heart and the courage to take one small step at a time. In the next parts of this video, we're going to explore how Buddhist teachings like the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, mindfulness, compassion, and the power of letting go can completely change the way you experience life, not just in theory, but in your daily moments. Stay with us, because your journey toward a more peaceful, powerful, and joyful life might just start right here. The Four Noble Truths, the blueprint for inner freedom. Sit with me for a while. Let's not rush. Let the world spin outside. Here, we move slowly, like the river that does not fight its flow. Today, I want to speak to you about something very simple but very deep: the Four Noble Truths. These are not rules, not commands. They are just a way of seeing life clearly and honestly, like opening a window after a long time and letting fresh air into a dusty room. First, we must see that life carries suffering. This is not a negative view. It is not to say that life is only sadness. It is to be honest as the feeling you get when someone you love walks away, or when your body hurts, or when a deep loneliness creeps in when you least expect it. Life brings joy, yes, but it also brings pain. Birth is painful. Growing up is confusing. Getting old is frightening. Losing things we care about is inevitable. If you look carefully, you will notice that even when things are good, there is a small fear hiding behind them. The fear that it will end. The fear that it is not enough. Even in moments of happiness, the mind often asks, "What next?" or "Will this last?" This is the first noble truth, that suffering, dissatisfaction, and restlessness are woven into the fabric of life itself. Many people stop here. They see suffering and they either pretend it is not there or they drown in it. But the Buddha, the Awakened One, did not stop here. He looked deeper. He asked why? Why do we suffer? The second noble truth answers that question. Suffering has a cause. It does not happen by accident. It is not random. It comes from within us, from our craving, our clinging, our endless thirst for things to be a certain way. We want pleasure to last forever. We want people to behave the way we imagine. We want life to fit our dreams perfectly and permanently. And when it doesn't, and it never truly does, we suffer. It is like holding a handful of sand tightly. The tighter you grip, the more the sand slips through your fingers. The more you cling to life needing it to be perfect, the more it escapes you, and the more you hurt. Desire itself is not evil. Wanting good things is natural. But when our happiness depends entirely on getting what we want, we set ourselves up for endless pain. Because nothing stays the same. People change. Bodies age. Fortunes rise and fall. Dreams shimmer and disappear. When you truly see this, something softens inside you. You stop fighting reality so much. You stop blaming yourself or others or life itself. You begin to understand the nature of existence. The third noble truth is like a cool breeze after a long, hot day. It says, suffering can end. There's a way out. You're not trapped. You are not condemned to endless fear and craving. There's a peace deeper than pleasure, a joy that is not dependent on outside things. This peace is not something you have to invent. It is already there, beneath the noise of your wants and fears. Like the sun behind the clouds, it has always been shining. The work is simply to clear the clouds. When craving fades, suffering fades. When attachment loosens, freedom grows. When you let go of the need for life to be exactly as you wish, you open the door to a happiness that cannot be taken away by the winds of change. But how? How do we actually move from suffering to peace? The fourth noble truth gives the answer. There's a path. A real, walkable path. Not a magic trick. Not a wish. A path made of steps you can take here and now. It is called the Noble Eightfold Path. And it is not about torturing yourself, nor escaping the world. It is about living in such a way that your heart becomes lighter, your mind clearer, your actions kinder. But before we speak of that path in detail, it is enough to know this. Buddhism is not about blind faith. It is not about obeying without question. It is about looking directly at your own life, your own heart, and seeing what is true. You can test the four noble truths for yourself. You do not have to believe them because someone says so. Notice your own suffering. Notice the clinging behind it. Notice how even small moments of letting go bring a breath of relief. The Buddha did not ask for worship. He did not create a system to control people. He simply pointed, like a finger pointing to the moon. He said, look, see for yourself. Many people think that acknowledging suffering makes life gloomy. But strangely, It is the opposite. When you stop pretending that life should always be easy, you begin to appreciate the small joys much more. A cup of tea becomes a treasure. A kind word feels like sunlight. A moment of quiet becomes a sanctuary. You stop taking everything for granted. You stop rushing past the beauty that is hidden in ordinary moments. And when pain comes, as it will, you do not add layers of bitterness or blame on top of it. You face it, breathe through it, and let it pass like a storm passing over a mountain. The Four Noble Truths are not just ideas to think about. They are a mirror to see yourself clearly. They are a key that unlocks the door to a different way of living. When you truly understand them, you begin to relax your grip on life. You stop demanding that the world behave according to your personal script. You start to trust the flow of things more. You become softer, wiser, freer. This is not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning. In the next part, we will walk together into the Eightfold Path, a guide for how to live every day with more awareness, more kindness, and more strength. But for now, sit quietly with this simple truth. Suffering exists, it has a cause, it can end, and there is a way. You are not alone on this journey. Every being who has ever lived has felt sorrow, hope, loss, and wonder. You walk a path that millions of seekers have walked before you. Take heart. Breathe deeply. The first step is simply to see the Eightfold Path, walking toward a new you. When you think about your life, do you ever wonder why things happen the way they do? You wake up each day, you go about your tasks, you meet people, you face challenges, but somewhere deep inside, you feel like you're just going through the motions. Sometimes it's as if life is a big question mark, and we're searching for the answer, yet never quite finding it. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that the answer is not out there somewhere? What if the key to unlocking the mystery of life, the key to finding real peace, is already within you? This is where Buddhism comes in. It teaches that the way to truly understand life and find peace is to walk a certain path. A path that doesn't demand you to be perfect, but rather invites you to awaken, to open your eyes and heart to the world as it truly is. This path is called the Eightfold Path. It's like a guidebook, but instead of telling you where to go, it shows you how to see things differently, how to live with greater clarity and kindness. You see, in Buddhism, the key to freedom is not found by changing the outside world, but by transforming how you experience the world. And the Eightfold Path is the map to that transformation. Each part of the path builds upon the other. They are not separate steps, but rather interconnected ways of living that help you become the best version of yourself. They invite you to live in harmony with the world, to find joy even in the midst of difficulties, and to let go of the attachments that bind you. But before we dive into each part of the Eightfold Path, let me remind you, Buddhism is not about following rules for the sake of it. It is not about being perfect or having all the answers. It is about being present, being mindful, and learning how to live with awareness and compassion. The Eightfold Path starts with right understanding. This is the foundation of everything. Without understanding, it's like trying to build a house on sand. Right understanding means seeing the world clearly, knowing that all things are impermanent, and understanding that suffering is a part of life. It means recognizing that we are not separate from each other, that we are all connected, and that our actions have consequences. When you have right understanding, you begin to see through the illusions that we often chase, the illusions of permanent happiness, the illusions of control, the illusions of self. You realize that life is constantly changing, and that peace comes not from holding on, but from letting go. The second part of the path is right intention. Right intention is about the motivation behind your actions. Why do you do what you do? What drives you? In Buddhism, right intention means acting with kindness, compassion, and love, not for personal gain or recognition, but because it is the right thing to do. It means letting go of harmful intentions, such as greed, hatred, and delusion, and replacing them with intentions that bring peace and understanding. When your intentions are pure, your actions follow suit. You begin to act with more awareness, more care, and more respect for the world around you. The third part is right speech. This one might seem simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Right speech means speaking truthfully, kindly, and responsibly. It means avoiding gossip, slander, and harsh words. Think about it. How much pain do we cause ourselves and others through our words? Our words have power. They can heal where they can hurt. They can create peace where they can stir up anger. When we practice right speech, we learn to communicate with respect, with clarity, and with compassion. We stop using words to hurt or manipulate others, and instead use them to build up, to connect, and to inspire. The fourth part is right action. Right action means behaving in ways that align with your values and your understanding. It means acting with integrity, with honesty, and with respect for all living beings. Right action means not causing harm to others, whether through violence, stealing, or lying. It means choosing actions that promote well-being and harmony. Think about the impact of your actions. Every action, no matter how small, sends ripples into the world. When you choose right action, you contribute to the peace and happiness of others. You act with purpose and with the knowledge that your actions matter. The fifth part is right livelihood. Right livelihood means choosing a way of earning a living that doesn't harm others and is in line with your values. It means doing work that benefits the world in some way, whether it's directly or indirectly. In modern terms, it could mean choosing a job that doesn't exploit others or damage the environment, or simply doing work that makes you feel fulfilled and at peace. When you choose right livelihood, you no longer feel disconnected from your work. Your work becomes a form of self-expression, a way to serve others and make a positive impact. The sixth part is right effort. Right effort is about putting in the right kind of effort to cultivate positive qualities and to eliminate harmful ones. It means making the effort to be mindful, to be kind, and to grow spiritually. But it's also about not overexerting yourself or forcing things. It's about balance, making consistent, patient efforts towards self-improvement without pushing yourself too hard or expecting instant results. Right effort teaches you to be patient with yourself, to keep moving forward with determination, but without frustration. The seventh part is right mindfulness. Mindfulness is perhaps the most well-known practice in Buddhism today. It means paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It means being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your surroundings, and simply observing them without attachment. In a world full of distractions, mindfulness is the key to staying centered. It helps you to stop reacting automatically to life and instead to respond with awareness and clarity. Mindfulness allows you to live fully in the moment, without dwelling in the past or worrying about the future. Finally, the eighth part is right concentration. Right concentration means focusing your mind with clarity and depth. It means being able to concentrate on a single point or task without being distracted. In Buddhist practice, concentration is often developed through meditation, where you learn to focus on your breath or on a particular object of attention. With right concentration, you develop the ability to calm the mind and find peace even in the midst of chaos. You begin to see things as they really are, without the distortions of your thoughts and emotions. Together, the Eightfold Path offers a way to live more mindfully, more compassionately, and more peacefully. It invites you to live in a way that benefits not only yourself, but everyone around you. It is a path of wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline that leads to the freedom of mind and the liberation of the heart. As you walk this path, you will notice that your life begins to change in subtle but profound ways. Your relationships become more harmonious. Your actions become more purposeful. Your mind becomes clearer, and your heart becomes lighter. And though the path is not always easy, it is always worth walking. Remember, this path is not a destination. It is a journey. A journey that, step by step, leads you toward awakening. And every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the truth of who you are and to the peace that lies within. Mindfulness and compassion, daily practices that rewire your soul. In the quiet of your mind, there's a space where you can listen to the deepest parts of yourself. This is where mindfulness begins. Imagine for a moment that you're walking down a path. The world around you is full of noise, distractions, and busyness. But you choose to walk slowly, noticing each step you take. You feel the ground beneath your feet. You notice the air moving through your body. You see the leaves fluttering in the wind. And suddenly, everything around you becomes clearer. You are no longer lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. You are simply present. This is mindfulness. It is the art of being fully aware of what is happening right now, without judgment or distraction. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not just about sitting in meditation. It's a way of life. It's about bringing your full attention to whatever you are doing, whether that's drinking a cup of tea, brushing your teeth, or having a conversation. It means being present, without rushing to the next thing or letting your mind wander. The beauty of mindfulness is that it can transform even the most ordinary tasks into moments of peace and insight. You might be surprised at how much you can learn about yourself when you simply pay attention to the way you breathe, the way your body feels, or the way your mind reacts to small things. When you become aware, you begin to see patterns in your thoughts and emotions. You start to notice how much of your suffering comes from things that happened in the past or from fears about what might happen in the future. And here lies the power of mindfulness. It helps you break free from this cycle. When you are mindful, you stop living in a world of regrets and anxieties. You come into the present, where everything is okay, just as it is. In this space, there's peace. There's no need to chase after things or run away from things. You can simply be. But mindfulness is not just a practice for finding peace within yourself. It is also the gateway to compassion. When you start to be present with yourself, you start to see the suffering and struggles of others with more clarity. You understand that all beings, like you, are trying to find peace, to find happiness, to be loved. Imagine now that you're sitting with someone who is upset, angry, or sad. If you're fully present with them, not distracted by your phone, not thinking about what you want to say next, you can listen deeply. You can hear their pain, not just in their words, but in their energy, in the silence between the words. When you truly listen, without judgment, you create a space where they can feel seen and heard. In that moment, you are offering them the greatest gift of all, compassion. Compassion is not pity. It's not about feeling sorry for someone. Compassion is about understanding another's pain without turning away, without judgment, and offering your heart in response. It's about wanting to ease the suffering of others because you know deep in your bones that we are all connected. Just as you experience pain, so too do others. And just as you long for peace, so too do they. In Buddhism, compassion is seen as one of the highest virtues. It's the foundation of all other practices because when you act with compassion, you begin to see the world through the eyes of kindness. You stop seeing others as separate from you. You stop seeing them as competitors, enemies, or strangers. You begin to see them as part of the same vast ocean of life that you are part of. You realize that their happiness and your happiness are not separate, they are one. Now, you might wonder, how does one practice compassion in a world that often feels harsh, divided, and full of suffering? It's not always easy. It can feel like a challenge to maintain a compassionate heart when so much around you seems to pull you in the opposite direction. But the practice of compassion is not about being perfect or always being calm. It's about showing up again and again with an open heart. It's about small, everyday actions. It's in the way you speak to someone who is struggling. It's in the way you smile at a stranger. It's in the way you care for your own heart and mind. so you can care for others with sincerity. A Zen master once said, "Compassion is not something you do, it is who you are." And this is the essence of the practice. It's not about making grand gestures or trying to be a perfect person. It's about letting your natural kindness shine through in every moment. It's about taking the time to stop, breathe, and truly connect with the world around you. But compassion is not just for others. It's for yourself as well. Many of us are our harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossible standards, always thinking we should do more, be more, achieve more. This kind of thinking leads to stress, burnout, and a constant feeling of not being good enough. But when you bring mindfulness into your life, you also bring compassion to yourself. You start to realize that, just like everyone else, you're doing your best. You start to forgive yourself for your mistakes, knowing that they are just part of your journey. This self-compassion is essential for your well-being. Without it, you can never truly heal. Without it, you will always feel like something is missing. But when you begin to show yourself the same kindness that you show others, you begin to feel whole. You begin to see your own worth, not based on what you achieve, but simply because you exist. Mindfulness and compassion are like the two wings of a bird. One cannot fly without the other. When you practice mindfulness, you become more aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And when you practice compassion, you start to open your heart to the world and to those around you. Together, they help you create a life that is more peaceful, more meaningful, and more connected. In your daily life, you can practice these two principles in simple, everyday moments. You don't need to meditate for hours or retreat to a mountain. All you need is the willingness to slow down, to observe, and to be kind. When you do this, you begin to change not only your mind, but the world around you as well. Buddhism teaches us that we are all interconnected. When we practice mindfulness and compassion, we change the energy we bring into the world. We become a calming presence for others. We become a source of warmth, peace, and love. And in this way, we not only heal ourselves, but also help to heal the world. So take a moment today to practice mindfulness. Notice your breath, your thoughts, and your feelings. And as you do, take a moment to offer yourself compassion. You are worthy of love, just as you are. And as you walk this path, you will begin to see that every step, no matter how small, is a step toward freedom, peace, and joy. Letting go. How non-attachment unlocks true power. In life, we often feel the weight of attachment to people, to things, to our beliefs, and even to our own desires. We carry them around, sometimes without even realizing it, like invisible chains that bind us. We think that these attachments define us or give us a sense of control, but in truth, they only keep us trapped in a cycle of constant longing and disappointment. The more we cling, the more we suffer. Imagine, for a moment, you're holding on to something with all your might, perhaps a heavy bag, or maybe even a precious object you're afraid to lose. Your arms grow tired. The weight is too much to bear. And yet, you refuse to let go. You're so fixated on keeping the thing close that you don't notice how it's slowly draining you, making your life more difficult than it needs to be. Now, imagine if you could release that grip, if you could let go without fear, without regret, without worry about what might happen next. In that moment of freedom, you would feel light. You would feel free. This is the power of letting go. Buddhism teaches us that attachment, whether to people, possessions, or even our own emotions and thoughts, is the root of much of our suffering. When we become too attached, we are no longer living in the present moment. We are always looking ahead, chasing something that may or may not bring us happiness, or we're looking back, clinging to something we can no longer change. But the truth is, the past is gone, and the future has not yet arrived. All we have is the present moment. One of the most profound lessons in Buddhism is the idea of non-attachment. It doesn't mean that you should stop loving people or stop caring about things that matter to you. It simply means not allowing your happiness to depend on them. It means recognizing that everything in life is impermanent. Things change, people change, circumstances change. Holding on too tightly to anything that is fleeting only brings pain. Look at the nature around you. A tree does not cling to its leaves when autumn comes. It lets them fall, trusting that the cycle of life will continue. The river does not fight against the current. It flows naturally, moving with the changes in its path. And in the same way, you can learn to let go of attachments that hold you back. This doesn't mean that you stop caring about things. Far from it. It means you start caring in a different way. You care with an open hand, not a clenched fist. You love without demanding that others or circumstances meet your expectations. You give freely without expecting anything in return. You accept life as it is, knowing that it will always change, but that change is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. The Buddha taught that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react. And our reactions are often shaped by our attachments. When we are attached to an idea, a person, or a possession, we are more likely to feel frustration, anger, or sadness when we lose it. But when we practice non-attachment, we can experience these things with a sense of equanimity. We no longer feel overwhelmed by life's ups and downs. We simply flow with them. Let's take an example from everyday life. Imagine you've been working for years to build a business. You've poured your heart and soul into it. Then, one day, something happens, a crisis, an unexpected failure, or a loss of income. You could be devastated. You could become angry, resentful, and bitter. You could obsess over what went wrong and what you could have done differently. But this attachment to the idea of success, to your identity as a successful business owner, is what causes you pain. The business itself is just a temporary part of your journey. What truly matters is how you respond in that moment. Can you let go of the attachment to your success and find peace in the present moment, knowing that you can always start again? This is where true strength lies. Non-attachment also brings clarity. When we are not clinging to our preferences, our opinions, or our desires, we can see things more clearly. We can understand the world and ourselves without the filter of our attachments. It is like wiping the fog off a mirror. Suddenly, the reflection is sharp, clear, and true. With non-attachment, you can observe your emotions, your thoughts, and your circumstances with greater objectivity. You can recognize them for what they are, just passing moments, and not something that defines you. In Buddhism, letting go is not a one-time act. It is a practice, a way of being. It is something that you need to cultivate each day. It's about noticing the moments when you start to cling to something, when you start to resist the flow of life. It's about taking a deep breath and reminding yourself that it's okay to let go, that it's okay to release the need for control, and that life will continue, with or without your attachments. Think of your attachments like clouds in the sky. They come and go, but they do not define the sky. They are temporary, floating through your mind. If you hold on to them, they block the sun. But if you simply watch them pass by, you'll realize that you are the sky, vast, open, and free. So, how we start this practice of letting go? The first step is awareness. You must be aware of what you're holding on to. What are you afraid to lose? What's weighing you down? Once you recognize your attachments, you can begin to practice releasing them. You can ask yourself, do I really need this? Is it bringing me peace? Is it truly helping me grow? The more you practice letting go, the easier it becomes. In time, you'll notice that life feels lighter. Your relationships become healthier. Your emotions become less turbulent. And your mind becomes more peaceful. You'll no longer be a slave to your attachments. Instead, you'll be the master of your own inner world. Non-attachment is not about detaching from life, but about engaging with it more fully and freely. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for new experiences, new opportunities, and new growth. You free yourself to live in the present moment. without the weight of past regrets or future anxieties. So, the next time you feel yourself clinging to something, remember, you don't have to hold on so tightly. Let go and allow yourself to experience life as it is, without the burden of attachment. When you do this, you will unlock a power within yourself that is far greater than anything you could ever control. And in that freedom, you'll find peace. Living the change. How Buddhism reshapes your entire life. As you sit quietly, let your mind wander for a moment. Imagine, just for a second, that everything you've learned in this journey, all the teachings, all the practices, are not something you need to do or achieve. Instead, they are reminders. They are simple truths that are already within you, waiting to be discovered. Buddhism is not about learning something new. It's about remembering who you truly are and rediscovering the peace that lies deep inside. When you start walking the Buddhist path, something changes inside of you, something subtle but powerful. At first, it may feel small. A moment of stillness when you feel less anxious. A moment of kindness when you would usually feel irritated. A moment of clarity when your mind is usually clouded with confusion. These small moments, these little shifts start to add up. They accumulate like drops of water filling a cup, slowly but surely changing the way you experience life. At first, you might not notice how much you've changed. But then, one day, you'll realize that your relationship with yourself, with others, and with the world has transformed. You stop reacting so quickly, you stop getting so upset over things that once would have triggered you. Your reactions begin to soften, and in their place, you find peace. It's not that you no longer face challenges or hardships. No, challenges will always be there. Life is filled with moments of difficulty, loss, and sorrow. But what Buddhism teaches us is this. You do not have to suffer through them the way you once did. You can face these challenges with a mind that is calm, with a heart that is compassionate, and with a spirit that knows that everything is temporary. The pain you feel, the fear you experience, these are just moments. They do not define you. You are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. And this is freedom. One of the greatest gifts Buddhism gives us is the ability to live in the present moment. The present is all we truly have. The past is gone, and the future is never guaranteed. But right now, in this moment, you can choose how you respond. You can choose peace. You can choose love. You can choose gratitude. And when you start making these choices consciously, over time, your life begins to reflect that change. You'll notice the world around you starting to change too. People start to treat you differently. Your circumstances begin to shift, and you find that you attract more of what you want, not through effort or force, but through simply being who you truly are. Buddhism doesn't promise that life will be easy, but it promises that you will have the tools to live it with wisdom and compassion. These tools are not about avoiding life's difficulties, but about facing them with the understanding that everything, both good and bad, is impermanent. Nothing stays forever. In knowing this, you begin to let go of attachments to things, to outcomes, to expectations. You realize that true peace comes from within, not from the outside world. When you embrace the teachings of Buddhism, you begin to see life through a different lens. You stop looking for happiness in external things, and instead, you start to find it within yourself. It's no longer about having more things or achieving more goals. It's about finding contentment right where you are. You begin to understand that happiness is not something to chase, it's something to allow. It's already there, in the quiet moments, in the small acts of kindness, in the deep breaths you take when life feels overwhelming. And this is the beauty of living the change Buddhism offers. It's not about becoming someone different. It's about becoming the best version of who you already are. It's about shedding the layers of fear, anxiety, and doubt that cover your true nature. When you let go of these layers, you reveal a sense of peace, a calm that is unshakable, no matter what is happening around you. The challenges of life no longer control you. You become the calm in the storm. In your daily life, this transformation may show up in small ways. You might start noticing that you are less bothered by things that used to upset you. You might start speaking more kindly to yourself and others. You might find that you listen more deeply, not just to words, but to the silence between them. You begin to connect with people not through your need for approval or validation, but through genuine empathy and understanding. You stop seeing the world as something to conquer, and instead, you start seeing it as something to appreciate. Living the change is about coming into harmony with yourself and with the world. It's about realizing that you don't need to control everything to be happy. The more you let go, the more life flows with ease. You stop fighting against the current and start swimming with it. You realize that everything, every moment, every person you encounter is a teacher. Every situation is an opportunity for growth, for understanding, and for deepening your practice. At first, it might feel like you're not making any progress. The world may seem just as busy, just as chaotic, and you might even wonder if anything is changing. But remember, growth often happens in the quiet, subtle shifts. It's not always loud or dramatic. It's the small, consistent moments of mindfulness, of kindness, of compassion. These moments begin to build a new way of being, a new way of seeing the world, and before long, you'll realize you've changed in ways you never thought possible. You see, Buddhism teaches us to let go of the need to arrive. We don't have to become perfect. We don't have to be fixed. We are already whole. We are already enough. The goal is not to change who you are, but to uncover your true self, free from the layers of fear, attachment, and suffering that have built up over the years. This is the path to true liberation. And so, as you continue on this path, remember that Buddhism is not about escaping life or avoiding difficulties. It is about living life with wisdom, awareness, and compassion. It is about facing the truth of our existence with open eyes and an open heart. It is about being present, being mindful, and being kind to yourself, to others, and to the world around you. As you live the change that Buddhism offers, you'll find that peace is not something to attain. It's something to realize. It's always been there, just beneath the surface, waiting for you to see it. And when you do, everything in your life will begin to align. You will find peace in the present moment, joy in simple things, and a deep, abiding connection to the world around you. This is the gift Buddhism offers, the gift of awakening, the gift of realizing that you are not separate from the world, but deeply connected to it, the gift of seeing life as it truly is, beautiful, imperfect, and full of endless opportunities for growth. So, as you move forward in your journey, carry this wisdom with you. You are already enough. You are already whole, and every moment is a chance to live from that place of peace, love, and wisdom. The change you seek is not out there, in the future, or in some distant goal. It is here, right now, in your heart, in your breath, in your every step. Live it, feel it, be it.